Welcome to the Scaringi Law Lunch Break. This is your time of the day to learn a little bit about the law while you enjoy your lunch. While the nation's attention is galvanized by the bombshell attempted rape allegation made against Judge Brett Kavanaugh on the eve of the confirmation vote to the United States Supreme Court, political and legal news was also made recently in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's case against a former Trump campaign manager, Paul Manafort. Last week, Paul Manafort pled guilty in federal court to 2 counts. Manafort and the special counsel have also worked out a cooperation agreement. That will include Manafort being interviewed by prosecutors and possibly testifying as a witness in cases Mueller may bring against others. The president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, said in response to the Manafort plea deal, once again, an investigation has concluded with a plea having nothing to do with President Trump or the Trump campaign. Now, Manafort had his trial set for September 24th. He had been facing 7 counts of foreign lobbying violations, witness tampering in federal court, and other charges. In August, in a separate trial in Virginia, a federal jury found Manafort guilty on 8 counts of federal tax and banking crimes. The jury deadlocked on several other charges. The 2 charges Manafort just pled guilty to are 1, conspiracy against the United States, and 2, conspiracy to obstruct justice. Mueller dropped 5 other charges, including obstruction of justice, providing false statements, conspiracy to launder money, and acting as an unregistered foreign agent. Notice Mueller kept the 2 most ominous-sounding charges, conspiracy against the United States and conspiracy to obstruct justice. Conspiracy against the United States sounds very bad. It gives Democrats a lot of ammunition against Manafort and, through guilt by association, President Trump. And notice Mueller dropped the obstruction of justice charge in exchange for a plea to conspiracy to obstruct justice. Conspiracy means there was 1 or more co-conspirators in the obstruction of justice case. Again, it sounds bad, gives ammo to the Democrats, and gives the impression that perhaps President Trump or other members of his campaign team are the co-conspirators with Manafort on Russian collusion. But in reality, the obstruction charges are based on allegations of alleged witness tampering, after Manafort was already initially charged with several crimes related to his work for the Ukrainian government. The underlying charges are tax fraud and failing to register as a foreign lobbyist. According to the charging document, Manafort tried to influence 2 individuals to induce them to say falsely that they did not work in the U.S. as part of a lobbying campaign, even though Manafort then and there well knew that they did lobby in the U.S. So it seems to me that conspiracy Special Counsel Robert Mueller is talking about and had Manafort plead guilty to does not involve collusion with Russia to interfere in the U.S. election. According to Manafort's charges, sentencing guidelines estimate a potential sentence of between 210 to 262 months in prison. That's 17 and a half years to about 22 years. His sentence will ultimately be determined by a judge, but the plea deal puts a cap on each count of a maximum period of incarceration of 5 years. So if the judge, who is the one who decides the sentence, sentences according to the plea, which he doesn't have to do, then Manafort's total maximum prison sentence could be 10 years if the judge sentences consecutively on each of the 2 counts. Manafort will also lose several properties, the money in several bank accounts, and a life insurance policy. In exchange, Manafort was assured that he will spend no more than a decade in prison for the 2 charges, so long as he cooperates with Mueller. The deal also dismisses those deadlock charges against Mueller from the earlier trial in Virginia. Now, the media is having a field day with the cooperation agreement part of this plea deal. The media, they're reporting the cooperation agreement is likely about Manafort cooperating in Mueller's investigation of Trump for collusion with Russians during the campaign. And the title to an article about the plea deal in the New Yorker reads this way. It says, "Parsing Paul Manafort's plea agreement for how much dirt he has on Trump." Of course, that's nonsense. The cooperation agreement is much more likely about helping Mueller prosecute President Bill Clinton and President Barack Obama's former attorney, Gregg of Skadden Arps law firm, for similar charges to the Manafort charges, as well as Tony Podesta, longtime Democrat fixer and brother to the former chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, John Podesta. For example, a document recently released by the Office of Special Counsel indicated they're investigating Tony Podesta for misleading federal investigators when questioning him about the Foreign Agents Registration Act, the same violation that they were investigating Manafort for. So time will tell, and it will likely all come out in the wash, as they say. But the takeaway from the Manafort guilty plea is this: it had nothing to do with President Trump or his campaign or any alleged collusion with Russia. And the cooperation agreement is likely about taking down prominent Democrats connected to Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Well, that's all the time we have today for the Scaringi Law Lunch Break. Enjoy your lunch.